All right, good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday. Really excited to be here with you today, speaking about this journey of moving from paper to digital within the industrial, environmental, health, and safety space. Today, I have Kyle Beckman and Sonya Price with me from MMC Materials. We are going to be really diving into this journey that they've had moving from paper to digital, and discussing some of the challenges and some of the successes they've had along the way. I'm going to be your host. My name is Sarah. I'm a communication specialist with Mapestry, and favorite thing about my job is bringing the stories to life of the different folks I get to speak with in the industry. So it's really interesting to me, and hopefully we'll be able to provide some information to you to get some inspiration moving forward on your journey. For those of you who are new on the call today, and who may not be familiar with Mapestry, we're an environmental health and safety platform on the software side. So we deal with compliance, and we really work to create transparency, drive collaboration, provide efficiency, and ensure accountability across an organization. We can get a bit deeper into that, but that's where we'll start out from a high level. The platform is really data driven, and it's built to ensure that you can complete, monitor, and analyze all of your environmental compliance requirements in one place. That also goes for health and safety, whether it's inspections, whether it's sample results. We want to bring all of that in to one single pane of glass so that everyone within the organization is super aware of what's happening, and then you can make proactive decisions moving forward. So making that digital has been a huge transition in the last 10 years. We're constantly bringing new customers on board. And they're really pushing the needle themselves, as you will hear today. Today I brought on Kyle Beckman and Sonya Price, two leaders in the industry that have really been working together as a dream team, as we were discussing before the call, to bring this vision of digitization to light. So with that being said, Kyle and Sonya, it would be great if you could take a few minutes and introduce yourselves, give the crowd some context of who you are.
Sure. Hey, so I'm Sonya Price. I've been working in manufacturing, construction, and transportation for 15 years. Before that, I was a tax auditor, but we won't talk about that. I've been kind of thrown into safety from the beginning, just because nobody else wanted to do the job. So it kind of just evolved from there. But right now, I am the area safety manager for one area officially, and then with Mapestry, I'm helping with a second area. So for Mapestry purposes, I have about 20 plants that I'm helping with, all the reporting and all that. So it's pretty big task, but it's definitely been made a lot easier.
I'm Kyle Beckman. I've been with MMC for 12, 13 years now. I actually started when I was still in college getting my degree, co-oping with them. The co-op's kind of an internship program. And I stayed on them after I graduated. Co-op, and I mainly worked in quality control. When I graduated, they sent me to run a large mobile job. We did a power plant in Mississippi. So I was there for a few years and then got back into quality control for a few years. And then about 5, 6 years ago, I'm sorry, a couple of years ago, became assistant area manager for our GTR Starway area. And then this last year in January, was able to take the position of safety and environmental manager for all of MMC and also our sister company, Bayou Concrete, which mainly operates on the coast of Mississippi, Alabama, and into the panhandle of Florida. So really, this is kind of a new role to me since the 1st of January. So I've learned a lot. Didn't have a whole lot of exposure to safety and environmental other than kind of going back to when I ran that large portable job a few years ago. So I really have learned a lot, and that's kind of my story.
Awesome to hear. No, it's nice to know how you guys have both learned about the industry and your path to getting to where you are today. The more experiences you have, the more open you are to adopting tools that will make your life easier, just because, that's what efficiency is about. In terms of, making the transition from what you'd been doing for so long. I mean, you both have been in the industry, it sounds like, for more than a decade. What were some of the main difficulties that you faced when you were using paper documents, if you can kind of go back to a year ago or so?
Yeah, so my biggest issue with the paper documents was ensuring that they all got done on a more ground level, I suppose. Just ensuring that all my plant managers had all of their forms completed when they were supposed to be completed at the frequency. And then going around, we had binders. So there were several different binders for different inspections that had to be done, and ensuring that they remembered to go through all the binders and all the inspections, and then physically having to inspect them, by going into the plant, into the office, and pulling those books and flipping through the pages. So that's been the biggest thing with the paper, and just being able to quickly access those things in case somebody comes in asking for them, DEQ or whatever. And so I mean that, and congruence, I would imagine,
Yeah,
just things
that's all
across
the
the.
same. I think from my perspective, from maybe a corporate level, is liability. If something happens, we have a tornado, a hurricane, a fire that destroys an office, we lose all that environmental paperwork. Or if
Right.
we have a termination of an employee and they decide to take all the paperwork home with them, we don't have any way to get that. If something, if it's destroyed, we don't have a backup copy of it. So, if we come in and get audited from a state
Agency.
department of quality, they can potentially fine us because we can't produce these paperwork. So I think liability was one of the big reasons. The transition to digital is really going to be beneficial for us.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of the most logical reason, of course, like in the day and age we're living in with things that can change any moment, having that safety net of all your documentation being in one place is really just a comforting factor, I could imagine. I mean, was that the primary motivating factor for MMC moving from paper to digital? Just that liability challenge?
I wouldn't say that was the
That was the
only
prime. I
factor,
think it was a
but
combination of
yeah,
those.
yeah. So the way that it began, as we discussed earlier, I was using a free app for my own specific inspections. And then the safety manager that was there before Kyle took over saw me using it and asked about it. So we kind of got to talking about it, and it was really not feasible for the whole company, just for cost wise and for the amount of work that we had to put in personally and just the time and effort, and it wasn't really customizable. So it was really difficult, but I was using it for my own inspections, and it wasn't really designed for something for the whole company. So he started looking into options for the whole company that would work for us financially, as well as the customizable, and also that our Department of Environmental Quality in the state would accept. And so he found a couple of things, but Mapestry really seemed to fit our company best. And so we kind of dove into that. And then Kyle comes in, and he's helping us with the implementation now. And so it really, it started with, attempting to use a digital program, and it really has evolved into something so much more that we couldn't have even imagined at the beginning.
Yeah, and it also it provides us an easier way. We run pretty decentralized the way we have our company structured, as
Mhm.
each area is kind of their own business unit. They have a lot of autonomy, so it's an easy way for us to standardize our reporting, what everybody's doing, safety and environmental reporting, throughout the whole company. And as we add plants or sites in the future, to roll those out was going to be a lot easier than what we've had to do in the past with all paper.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's nice to have your own autonomous units, of course. I think that's what makes a company so great, having those different, uh, pockets of efficiency, but having one standardized process for reporting, I imagine it would also just help you grow in the future if that's something MMC is looking to do, just because it drives that efficiency and just certainty that things will get done in the right way. So that's awesome to hear. I mean, you guys mentioned you have a team of 500 or so. Can you share a little bit about the onboarding process and how Sonya, obviously you're a big fan of the iPad, and you went on your own initiative to get that digital tool to use to make your life easier. But with the other members of your team, was it a challenging onboarding process, or how did they receive that?
Onboarding has been so much easier than I would have imagined. You always have those guys that say, oh, well, I'm not good with computers, or I don't really know how to use this stuff. But once you start showing them the app, the mobile app especially, and how easy and user friendly it is, those complaints go away. They have all been very, very receptive to it, and they've all said how much easier it has made their job.
Mhm. It's kind of the onboarding process. What we've done since we're a little decentralized, we've identified a lead in each area that's going to be kind of the champion for Mapestry. Sonya has been in 2 areas, and the first 2 we rolled out. So we're kind of training the trainer approach. We're training them, and then they're going to roll it out to more the frontline personnel. But from my conversations doing inspections throughout the company, it's been overwhelmingly positive when I explain the benefits, what this is, going to provide. And even some of the older guys that are, technology is not their forte, have been on board with it and been willing to embrace it and learn it. So onboarding, like Sonya said, has been easier than I would imagine when we first started.
Much easier. And the team at Mapestry,
It's been great.
oh gosh, I cannot even say enough about them. They are super quick to answer questions. Anything that we have thrown at them, they have been able to figure out. They have put any form that we've asked them to, and they make sure that they communicate with us to customize everything the way that we need it to be. I mean, it's just been phenomenal. If we have any sort of questions or user error in my case sometimes, they are quick to answer those questions, show us how to navigate through something. I mean, it's just been phenomenal. I cannot say enough about them. They've just been great.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. I know personally the customer success team is really invested in making sure our customers are enjoying and using the software. But also just from like the development side, user interface is so important because really the goal of Mapestry is to make compliance simple from, environmental safety and health. And in order to do that, you have to be able to interact and engage with this digital tool. I mean, we were discussing before the call that, Apple computers, there might be some things you don't like about them, but overall, the user interface is super simple. And, we don't think of ourselves as Apple, but we think of ourselves as a tool designed very specifically and intentionally to do exactly what you guys need. So to hear that is great. That's the goal, of course. And, I think user adoption is obviously really important when you're dealing with all these decentralized locations. Do all the MMC sites currently use Mapestry?
No, we are rolling it out. Right now, we're rolling it out in our North Mississippi, Memphis market.
Okay,
So
cool.
That's our third area to
third
get
area,
going.
we've probably got 25 sites running it, currently using it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty impressive I mean, you came on in April, so getting 25 sites on in that time, I think is really impressive. Were there any like company-led initiatives that announced this transition into Mapestry, or was it more just like on the site level?
More so on the site level, going area to area, kind of, announcing it in each area as we've moved. And, I mean, we didn't learn in from each time we implemented the two areas. You learn a little bit, what works, what doesn't work, what we need to adjust, and taking those lessons as we roll on to the next area.
And that's another part of the customer service that we've had, is that our team actually made a video and put it on our help site that is specific to us and to our inspections. And so when you click the little question mark at the bottom, you can look at the videos in case you needed a refresher or something like that. And that was part of our onboarding with the Mapestry team. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that I discovered personally that when you click the little help button and you do the chat, I was expecting a bot. I did not get a bot. I got one of my team and I was like, oh, hey, how are you? And so it's an actual person to answer your question. It's not a bot that says, okay, I can answer generalized questions. It's an actual person. And so as far as that goes, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, videos have been beneficial in training in our business, the ready mix concrete business. Getting everybody scheduling training is very difficult to get everybody in one location to do it.
Right.
We almost have to work around rain days, but you can't always anticipate when it's going to rain to get everybody scheduled. The video, being able to push the videos out for training has been really beneficial.
Yeah, I'm sure. So you guys basically have created your own videos on the MMC side that remind people of how to go through inspections or how to do certain processes. Is that correct?
Our onboarding team actually did that. The Mapestry team did that.
They recorded the videos, and then we just took those videos and put them on our training or website.
Awesome. That's so great that they were able to do that. I mean, it's pretty easy to record a Zoom meeting, but to have it all, personalized for MMC, and for you guys to take the initiative to put it on your website, and the fact that people are engaging with it, that's something I love to hear. That's a really great use of resources, I imagine, and I'm glad it's been helpful. Awesome. So in terms of getting, different users on board, what would you say some of the benefits are company-wide of using digital? I know you've mentioned a few, but from a leadership standpoint, how would you say your lives have improved?
I think from the analytics dashboard is going to be, we're just now getting enough data in the system to make sense of it. But being able to look at it from a snapshot view of what reporting is being completed on time, what areas we need to improve on. If some people are assigning tasks, are they being completed on time? Are they just being ignored? That has been very beneficial. This kind of really allows you to see the compliance side that in a way that we've never been able to see before. Doing inspections in the past, we would physically have to go to each plant, pull out their inspection books, go through each, monthly report, and whatever reporting it is, and verify it's been doing correctly. With 70, 80 sites we have now throughout MMC and our sister company, that's a long process. Versus with digital, you can look at that analytics dashboard and you have everything right there.
Right, and it also helps our upper management team to be able to see the data in front of them rather than just saying, hey Kyle, how's it going? And him trying to remember details for, all those 80 sites. It's just so much easier to be able to present a report, and the report is it is visually helpful, as well as has good data in it that can allow for better management decisions, as well as that goes. Be able to report to the upper management actually valid details, so that helps as well.
Yeah, I can totally imagine. I mean, if you need to do a process improvement, you have the data to back it up. Have either of you been able to set any goals moving forward into the new year based off of the data you've collected, whether they're from like, we want to improve our inspection times or we want to increase these safety procedures. Have you been able to set any like KPIs or goals moving into the next year?
We're just kind of getting started in that.
Yeah, we haven't yet. We're just now getting enough data, really, I guess the last 3 or 4 months, and just really one area. We've got enough data in there to really look at, but that's something we're going to look forward to, tying it back to a KPI. We use KPIs in other parts of our business, and this would be an extension, some way to tie that back to monitor environmental and safety compliance.
Right, but I've already been able to see improvements already. I mean, it's visual. So at the plant sites, it's amazing.
Oh, that's wonderful. And Sonya, you're coming in from like a safety perspective. So you've seen like an improvement in just procedures or inspections, or where are the kind of areas that you've seen the tool being used to elevate the safety program?
Right, so it's not only environmental reporting that we're using, it's also the safety. So we have our internal reports, inspections that we've required, that are also, OSHA compliance. So what I have personally been able to see in my areas is that they're, instead of, marking the same boxes every month, well, this answer is always supposed to be yes, and this answer is always supposed to be no. There's no correct answer other than the truth. And that's what I've told them. With this, instead of just having a box to mark, we've been able to show, we did this inspection, found this deficiency, documented it, and then made a task, and we can follow that whole paper trail all the way through to show that we did the inspection, found the deficiency, corrected the deficiency, and now here is the photo of the corrected deficiency. So you can follow the whole process rather than just checking a box. And so it has made it to where the guys actually get out, they read the questions, they do the inspections the way they're supposed to be done, they document the whole process. So it's easier for them to see the improvements, for me to see the improvements, and for if DEQ or OSHA were to come in, they could see the improvements as well. So it sort of validates the fact that they're actually doing the inspections and their job. And then when you go onto the plant site, as a result of that, you can see the physical changes in the site because now they're taking more ownership of it, and they're able to better go out there and make things actually physically safer as a result of it. And I mean, we had a pretty good safety record before, but it's just, I have seen vast improvements in the last couple of months. And I really attribute it to them.
You get more buy-in.
Yeah, actually reading and saying, okay, well, I do need to go check that because I haven't thought about it in a little while. And another thing that they've told me that they really like is the task. So when I do my inspection or Kyle does his, we can create the task and they don't forget it. So as before, we would say, okay, you need to fix this and this. Well, they would forget sometimes, what did she say? I don't really remember. Or, well, I think I got everything done. And then you go back and you're like, why didn't you do that? Oh, I forgot you said that. Well, one thing that they really like is having that task list up there and not forgetting. They've got a date, it says you need to do this, and the task is up there to remind them until they get it done. So that's been more effective as well because they've been actually completing the things that we've asked them to complete, and it's turned from big things to small things.
Love to hear it. No, as you said, it gives you like the power to take ownership of your own site. And I'm sure now that you have all those steps documented, it could be easily replicated at another site. And that's a really exciting process too. I think one thing that's really unique about MMC and probably other companies as well is that each site is going to be different. Everyone has kind of different operating abilities, but to take ownership of that, I think just makes the workplace more enjoyable, more engaging, and I think that's a really exciting step into the right direction. Kyle, from an environmental side, do you see something similar, or is it slightly different than the safety processes?
It's pretty similar. Uh, on the environmental side, we're really seeing a lot of the same kind of the buy-in that Sonya was talking about. It's really making the guys, uh, when they go through these reports, spend more time and evaluate, answer the questions more truthfully. When in the past, I think they just got in the habit of they've done the, you do a monthly report, 12 times in a year. They know what they know what to check and what not to check, and so it really has helped on the environmental side also.
Awesome. Yeah, the yes and no is a tricky one. I think when you can, have the ability to put in notes, assign tasks,
Mhm.
you're able to actually, make little granular improvements, and I think that's what drives things forward. So that's wonderful to see. Other than, Mapistry, I know it's been a year of 16 months of a more remote work. Have you used other technology to connect as a company, like Zoom meetings or different platforms, or has Mapistry been that kind of primary one?
No, I think we like any company. We've used Zoom, go to webinar, all of it's Microsoft Teams to connect. I mean,
Mm,
everybody I think is pretty familiar with digital meeting these days. Uh, but I think more than anything, it's kind of pushed us a little harder, a little more to transition to more digital things. Um, Going forward. We've got a few things we're still doing on paper, and we're really seeing a push from the top to go ahead and find
Mhm.
solutions to move to digital and some other aspects that we're still doing on paper.
Yep, for sure.
cool. That push from the top, is it coming from the liabilities or just standardization in general?
I think standardization and just the benefits you get from going digital that you can't get with paper.
Right,
You
instant
can't
access
you
to
can't
information.
measure. It's a lot harder to measure your success, your KPI with paper than it is with digital. Just verifying you get everything accomplished that needs to be completed with paper. I mean, everybody knows it's very difficult with digital. It's just so much easier. And I think the benefits we've seen, with Mapistry and other things we've done in the past going digital, the cost savings are there.
Mhm.
So it just makes sense.
Awesome. And I want to pause for just one moment. I know we're kind of approaching the end here. I do have a poll question because we've obviously talked a lot about the platform. If anyone that's attending the webinar today is interested in seeing a demo of it, I'm launching a poll right now. So just take a moment, think about that. Sonya and Kyle, I do have just kind of one more high level question on, in terms of what the past year has shown you, what do you think the biggest lesson has been in adopting technology? I don't know if you can, answer or address that in our last minute. I know it's a big one, but it'd be wonderful to hear your insight.
The biggest lesson.
I mean, for me, it's been as decentralized we are. We have remote sites. We have some sites with 2 or 3 employees. It is the ability to communicate with our employees in a timely manner. You know, we're looking now to pretty much all our trucks have tablets in them now. So right now we're looking at maybe some kind of solution where we can record videos and push these out to our employees to be able to better communicate. So really, what we've seen this last year with COVID is communication
Absolutely.
and being able to not communicate with everybody from the top down. It's been the biggest challenge, and then I think the area that we need to improve on.
Right. And focusing on everybody's safety as well in
Yeah.
that respect.
Yeah, I can imagine that. As we discussed earlier, I mean, obviously everyone's making that transition to better communication tools, but you can only answer so many emails, you can only hop on so many Zoom calls. I think having that platform that you can, send tasks to people, send updated emails is going to be really important. But all that insight is so wonderful to hear, and it's great to kind of get your guys' perspective on that. So I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close out today, Sonia and Kyle?
I would just say it's paid out dividends already,
Yeah,
and we're
we're
looking
seeing the
forward
benefits.
to the rest of the company getting on board and seeing how much we can improve.
Wonderful. Thanks for closing with that. The next speaker we're going to have on is in a couple weeks. It's going to be Josh Neff, the leader at Folsom Ready Mix, talking about challenges in the concrete manufacturing industry. So honing in on environmental compliance challenges. If anyone's interested in learning more about Mapistry, please let us know, or join us on our next Copy and Compliance. Today was so valuable, and it was great to meet you both. Thanks again so much for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.